This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 31st day of March in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Opposition leader Joe Harmon today sought to clear the APNU-AFC from the drug shortage scandal that is currently dogging the health sector. Recently, it was announced by the Health Ministry that more than $10 billion worth of expired medical supplies were dumped over the past 5 years, and that compounded the current drug shortage. The former coalition government was blamed for the problem. But during a press conference today, opposition leader Joe Harmon said the coalition will not be taking the blame for the negligence of the PPP. He said the drugs that were dumped were drugs that expired long before the coalition took office in 2015.
In recent months, we heard from the Minister of Health that the current drug shortage is because of the APNU-AFC management of the health sector. The media was fed with the usual lies that $10 billion of expired drugs had to be dumped, and that the fault was that of the APNU-AFC government. We wish to make it pellucid that these drugs were expired since 2013.
The opposition leader said the president and the vice president recently met with regional health officers who were asked to assess the drug shortage in their regions and provide a report to the vice president. According to a correspondence seen by News Source, the RHOs were also asked to develop a national emergency order and forward that order to the office of the vice president. Mr. Harmon said he suspects the government may be trying to create a smokescreen to sole source the drugs and hide from the procurement process.
So what you hear next? $385 million worth of drugs, contract awarded to Western Scientific. This is a company that was blacklisted by the IDB. And so we did not deal with that company because of the blacklisting status during our administration. But as soon as Jagdeo come in, bypass the procurement system, bring the list to me, and I will find a way. And this is the way he finds.
Mr. Harmon said the single sourcing of medical supplies dates back to pre-2015. He also noted that while there appears to be a genuine drug shortage, the administration seems to be manufacturing some of the issues so that persons and businesses aligned to the government could cash in on what he called a manufactured crisis.
So what we are doing now, the whole system now, as far as we understand it, the whole procurement system, the systems of transparency and accountability have all collapsed into the hands of Barra Jagdeo. And he is determining who gets what. That is what we've come to. And so this is why this drug shortage, some people feel it was artificially created so that they can do what they want here. They can just go and single source and shop as they want.
The Health Ministry recently announced that efforts are currently on the way to purchase hundreds of millions of dollars in drugs to ease the shortage that is taking place across the country. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
At Sash Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
University students, do you know who is seeing what you share online? Prospective employers, recruiters, and graduate schools often screen potential candidates before hiring or approving applications. Sharing inappropriate images or posts and using obscene language online can cost you dearly. Avoid paying the price. 1. Set your account to private. 2. Think twice before you share a post. 3. Get permission before posting details about others. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Contributions online? Simply visit our website at www.nis.org.gy. Click on the Create New Account button and enter the required information. An automatic email notification will be sent to acknowledge your application. Once your information is authenticated, you will receive an email within 48 hours with instructions on how to access the site. Once logged in, you can click on the My Contributions tab on the left side of the screen to view your contributions. For further information, you can call our Records Department on 225-2798 or visit your nearest NIS office.
You taste the cheese, you hear the crunch. Grab a zoomers and zoom into fun. And with the first taste, you feel like you don't want it done. Blast off to a whole new place with every single bite. The cheesy goodness bring your taste buds alive. So let's just zoom into fun with this wheel-shaped light. Zoomers, zoomers, zoom into fun.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana. So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams from the Ministry of Health as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out, TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Despite the steep increase in COVID-19 cases in the past month, the government has made no changes to the national COVID-19 regulations for the next month. The regulations, which were published in the official Gazette today, simply extends the same measures that have been in place for the past few months, including the 10:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew. The Ministry of Health reported today that the country recorded 57 new cases of coronavirus in the past 24 hours. The number of active cases in the country currently stands at 908, with 849 of those people in home isolation. The country has seen the highest number of increases in new cases over the past month. Health officials are currently pushing a national vaccination program. Since the start of the program, more than 30,000 persons have already been vaccinated. While the U.S. Department of State has released its 2020 country report on human rights practices, and the report has flagged Guyana for a number of human rights breaches. In the 16-page report posted on the U.S. State Department's website, the arrest of Opposition Chief Whip Christopher Jones was described as an arbitrary arrest. The report stated that back in August last year, the police arrested Jones, a senior member of the opposition, and searched his home, although he had a court-issued injunction preventing the search. Jones was released on bail the following day, but is still to face any formal charges. A number of barbershop equipment were removed from his home. The equipment, which were procured through a government grant for one of his community business projects, were being stored at the home. The report also pointed out that although the law provides criminal detainees prompt access to a lawyer of their choice and to family members, authorities occasionally did not fully respect that right. The report said the law prohibits arbitrary arrest and detention and provides for the right of any person to challenge the lawfulness of his or her arrest or detention in court, adding that the government generally accepted those requirements. Additionally, the report pointed out that lengthy pretrial detention remained a problem, noting that judicial inefficiency, staff shortages, and cumbersome legal procedures are all contributing factors. It was also stated that there remains a widespread public perception of corruption involving officials at all levels, including the police and the judiciary. The report noted that the law provides for an independent judiciary, and the government generally respected judicial independence and impartiality, while noting that delays and inefficiencies have undermined the judicial due process. The Human Rights Report also referenced the police gunning down of an unarmed civilian in a car. While the police claimed that someone in the car opened fire on the police, there was no gun found and no gunshot residue on any of the occupants of the car, including the man who was shot dead. 2 police officers were charged with that killing. The report also highlighted Guyana's 2020 elections, the delay in the results, the court cases that followed, and the eventual installation of a new government. Let's tell you now that during a meeting with several private security firms on Tuesday, Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben called on those private security companies to be mindful of the posture of their ranks at locations where they are working. While noting that the expansion of the private security service is assisting in creating a safer Guyana, Minister Ben raised some worry about the improper use of firearms and the posture by some security officers with those weapons. The meeting was held to identify issues and concerns as the Guyana Police Force looks to foster collaboration with private security companies. The minister also warned the ranks of private security companies that they could face sanctions. He said while many of them are professionals in the area, they need to impart the knowledge onto their ranks and the persons that they employ. The event was organized by the Deputy Police Commissioner, Clifton Hicken. Less than 24 hours after the police issued a wanted bulletin for 24-year-old Mark Anthony Henry for questioning in relation to the murder of West Coast Berbice resident Suruj Dio Chand, the man turned himself in to investigators. The 68-year-old Suruj Dio Chand was discovered in his home with multiple chop wounds about the body on Monday. Late last night, the police issued a wanted bulletin for Mark Henry. He is the brother of Joel Henry and the cousin of Isaiah Henry, the 2 Berbice teens who were brutally murdered in the same West Coast Berbice area last September. Dio Chand was an initial person of interest in the case, but was questioned and released. Crime Chief Wendell Blanham confirmed the arrest of Mark Henry. The crime chief said the man turned himself over to the police this afternoon in the company of his attorney. The crime chief would release no other detail about the investigations. Now let's tell you that U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents arrested a 26-year-old Guyanese man after he arrived at a JFK airport in New York on Sunday with 26 live whistling birds in hair curlers in his luggage. The man, who was destined to an address in New Jersey, was not criminally charged. However, they assessed a $300 civil penalty and sent him back to Guyana after allowing him to withdraw his request to enter the United States. He was sent home, but his birds were allowed to stay in the U.S. and have been turned over to the United States Department of Agriculture Veterinary Services. In a statement, the Customs and Border Patrol Agency in the U.S. said that Customs and Border Protection officers and agriculture specialists face a very complex and challenging task, and that it is to protect the nation, the citizens, and the agriculture resources. And they said they have been meeting that challenge with extraordinary commitment and vigilance. Over the years, several Guyanese have been held at U.S. ports of entry during their attempts to smuggle the birds into the U.S. The finches carry hefty prices since they are used for whistling competitions. A single whistling bird could be sold for as much as $5,000 US.
More employers are using social media to monitor employees. Here are some ways to maintain professionalism online. Never share confidential information about anyone, whether colleagues or clients. Do not share inappropriate posts from work gatherings. Keep company social media posts neutral. Never argue or make offensive comments. Never complain about your job to clients. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
I'm Swansino Ryan, the Vice President of the Escobar Chamber of Commerce. I just took my pill and I'd like to encourage the remainder of Region 2 and Guyana as a whole to take their pill.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as Filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana. So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams from the Ministry of Health as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out, TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Across the region right now, a proposal has been offered up by the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies for a new financial model, which would see host governments contributing 50% of overall financing, with the remainder coming from students' fees, entrepreneurial efforts, private sector donations, and alumni grants. Announcing the suggestion during a State of Our University address yesterday, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles suggested that government's financial contribution should be established and stabilized at around 50%. He said the remainder would be comprised of 15% from the students' fees, 15% generated through entrepreneurial efforts by the respective university, 10% through private sector donations and scholarships, and 10% through the award of grants and bursaries from the Alumni Association. Addressing the issue which had attracted concerns from all the regional campuses that if students' fees were to be increased in the coming months, enrollment figures would decline, Beckles said UWI had been soaring, and any move to curtail that upward trajectory would have a devastating impact on the region's human resources and overall economic development. Contending that UWI's debts had declined by 70% in the last 5 years, he said regional campuses had delivered on their mandate to transform the institution's reputation regionally and globally, which has never been higher. In neighboring Brazil, the country's president Jair Bolsonaro signed an executive order yesterday to disburse almost $1 billion in new loans to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, as the country hit a record tally of 3,708 deaths in one single day. Brazil currently accounts for about a quarter of COVID-19 daily deaths worldwide, more than any other country, and its vaccination efforts have been hampered by a lack of shots. Bolsonaro has been widely condemned for his handling of the pandemic, from playing down the severity of the disease to criticizing early efforts to secure vaccines and opposing social distancing measures. The new loans will be used to prop up Brazil's healthcare system, the finance ministry said. The health ministry will receive the funding and said it will use it at over 2,600 public health clinics, as well as to build more hospital beds. Yesterday, older Brazilians in Rio de Janeiro waited in long lines under the strong sun to get vaccinated. While Brazil hoped to have 46 million doses of the vaccine in March, it ended up receiving only 22 million. And finally tonight, international news. An Italian Navy officer has been arrested after being caught in the act of handing secret documents to a Russian military official, police have confirmed in Italy. The men were stopped by military police on suspicion of serious crimes relating to espionage and state security. The Russian, who reportedly worked at the Russian embassy in Italy, is expected to be expelled. The foreign ministry in Rome summoned Russia's ambassador and then expelled 2 Russian officials. Italian Foreign Minister Luigi Di Maio said the pair were involved in the extremely serious affair. The Italian officer was identified as a Navy captain working in the Office of Chief of Defense Staff. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Have a safe night.